You are listening to the On the Blue Line podcast, covering the National Hockey League and more hockey news. Here are your hosts now, Phil Bernardi and Chad Van Doorzen. Hi and hello, fans. This is the On the Blue Line Hockey podcast. I'm Phil Bernardi, my co-host.
Chad Van Doorzen.
We're happy to be back with you guys again on St. Patrick's Day, March 17th. Happy St. Patty's Day to everyone, and hope you're responsible today, but enjoy the Irish holiday.
Definitely.
You have any plans today? You gonna eat some corned beef, Chad?
No, I can't. I'm Catholic, so
Oh, yes, that's right. This holiday comes on a very funny day, a Friday.
Yeah. I guess it happens every 10 years or something. I don't know, but...
The Irish Catholics, they can't have their corned beef. Well, they still might. Who knows?
It might break the rules. Who knows?
But anyways, we want to congratulate the Bishop Noel High School out in Indiana here, becoming the 1A state high school champions over the past weekend.
Yeah, I mean, that's great for them, and we went down to go commentate, and that was a blast, huh, Phil?
Oh, yeah, man. We both loved it, and our sponsor, WJOB, 12:30 a.m., loved having us. You can find us on jedcastradio.com, WJOB 12:30 a.m., 104.7 FM. WJOB1230.com. We're also on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter at On the Blue Line Podcast. Well, Chad, we got some crazy games this week. I mean, a few were really tight, and then we had a blowout in one.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, no matter what, there's always something to analyze with these games, so.
Oh, yeah. I mean, our first one, the Tampa Bay Lightning went up to visit the New York Rangers up at Madison Square Garden, March 13th. Tampa ended up winning 3-2, but man, I gotta say, it was a nice battle between Budaj and Ranta.
Yeah, it definitely. Peter Budaj, he had 7 shutouts, .1916 save percentage, and that was mostly with the Kings. I believe, what was it, 27 wins, 23 wins?
I'm not sure about the win total exactly, but I know he's helped the Kings stay in playoff contention. And what did they do at the deadline? Trade him away. But in this first period, he really held the Rangers to nothing, basically. They only got 1 goal in on 13 shots.
Yeah. In that first period, it was all Rangers. Tampa Bay could not... they couldn't really, they were trying to control the neutral zone, and that's why the Rangers had to do the alley-oop passes. They did about 3 of them throughout the first period.
Yeah, I noticed that.
Yeah, Tampa Bay really, going towards the game, they got better, but in this first period, they couldn't break it out.
Well, I would like to say that Tampa only had 3 shots on net, but they scored on one of them. It was a power play goal by Braden Point, assisted by Kucherov and Jonathan Drouin. Kucherov passed it to the point from behind the net, and Braden Point just was at the top of the circle and fired it home past Ranta for one of the 3 shots on net. One went in. Yeah,
really quick shot by Point.
Steve Kampfer got the Rangers goal right before that. It was his first goal as a Rangers. A slap shot from the point. It was assisted by Matt Zuccarello and Chris Kreider. Peter Budaj was a little screened on that, but man, he really kept the Rangers in that first period.
Yeah, also, no, I think it was the Rangers that scored first.
You're correct.
Yeah, and then, so we got it backwards, but definitely,
Yeah, I mean, it was truly all Rangers, and Tampa just happened to get a power play, and that's what you got to capitalize on your chances, and they really did.
Oh, yeah.
In the second period, Gabriel Dumont made it 2-1 for Tampa, off a deflection from Jason Garrison's shot off the point. He also screened Antti Ranta perfectly.
Yeah, and that's the way you can really... That's the way they beat Ranta, even the first power play goal, I believe that there was traffic in his way.
Yeah, it was a little hectic on that first goal, which was scored by Braden Point, his first goal of the game. Next came a goal unassisted by Michael Grabner to tie it up. I'm not sure if you saw it, Chad, but Jason Garrison tried to clear the puck out of the zone, and it just kind of fluttered. Yeah, he whiffed on the puck, and Grabner just took it away and sent her home. But I got to say, props to Jason Garrison going over to his goalie and apologizing, saying, my bad.
Yeah, I think that really makes a big difference,
That is truly a good teammate and a classy man.
Yeah, I mean, Peter Budaj is going there without a contract, I believe, and going down there and playing being new and all that, you don't want to sit there and feel like, oh man, I should have saved that. No, it was Jason Garrison took responsibility. You're right. It's,
I mean, Buddha had a little chance on it, but for the most part, a breakaway right there. Oh man.
Yeah, Michael Grabner's really stealing away with those type of goals. You know, he's got 27 on the year.
You know, I think he might be one of the best free agent pickups over the past summer, especially for the Rangers. I mean,
I would agree.
Being one of the best free agents to sign. I mean,
that's over Rick Nash.
Yep, you're getting maximum value right there with Michael Grabner.
You're right.
In the third period, Braden Point got his second goal to make it 3-2 Tampa, assisted by Andre Palat and Nikita Kucherov. It was a give and go through the neutral zone. This was very pretty, and then Braden Point crashed the net and got the rebound. I mean, it was basically all Palat and Kucherov, and then it was like a little weave in and out, and then Braden Point, young guy crashing the net, tipped her home.
That was my favorite goal. I mean, that was by far, that was just a pretty play by Tampa Bay, and I mean, it's surprising. Why are they, if they're playing like that, why are they not in the playoff contention? But
I mean, they still could use a Mr. Steven Stamkos.
Yeah, he's really missed by Tampa Bay, that's for sure.
Well, he's still practicing with the team, so it's good. So overall, Tampa won 3-2. The shots through 3 for Tampa, 3, 6, 7 for a total of 16 shots on goal.
Wow.
They went 1 for 2 on the power play, and they were terrible in the face-off circle, winning 38.3% of the draw. So the Rangers really controlled this game, because listen to this stat line, Chad. 13 in the first, 7, and then 8 for a total of 28 shots on goal.
Yeah, Tampa Bay played a really good second and third period to be like, obviously come back against the Rangers, because the Rangers really took it away in the first, and Tampa Bay missing their centers, their 4 centers. I believe that there's an open tryout. They're saying, that's.
I might have caught that article too. It looked a little strange.
Yeah, I thought it was like a follow up or something, but yeah, I mean they really were lacking centers, and that's the difference between,
Yeah, between the winning and the losing this time. I mean, even though the Rangers won 61.7% of the draws and controlled most of the play, I don't know, man. This is just when you have a really good team that plays well defensively, and your goalie is just standing on his head. Budaj has been a money goalie for the first time, I think, in his career. And this is coming from an Avs fan, so of course.
Yeah, but you're spot on. I mean, the guy's, 35, 36?
Yeah, he's definitely in his mid-30s.
Yeah,
he's making the most of his opportunity. You can bet your boots on that.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of teams are playing better defensively with the teams that he's been on, but, I mean, there's times where he's really come up big.
Oh, yeah. So now for our second game of the week, it was March 15th, the Wednesday night rivalry. We love watching these games, especially between Pittsburgh and Philadelphia. This game was in Philly. It was Matt Murray versus Steve Mason. Philly won 4-0. Steve Mason got the shutout. But we're going to bring you some of the details. In the first, the only thing I really saw was a big save by Matt Murray to end the first period. I mean, man, that boy stood on his head in the first period, Matt Murray.
Yeah, Philadelphia was really coming at him, and it seemed like Pittsburgh was really passive in front of their net.
Then in the second period, the floodgates really opened. I mean, Couturier got a goal minute into the second period. Shen just sent the puck to the front of the net. Weiss tipped it onto the net, and the rebound landed right on Couturier's stick, and he just hammered it home.
Yeah, again, with Pittsburgh being passive in front of their net, Philly was able to create these opportunities where, their second meeting, the outdoor game, it was totally different what you saw from Pittsburgh. They were being really aggressive. And
well, I remember you saying earlier today off air that Philly, always gets guys that are grinders and crash the net. Well, everybody's in perfect position.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's always a positive to that, but, there's always a con.
And that con.
Yeah. And then a second goal of that period was scored by Wayne Simmons. I believe this was his 200th goal of his career.
Yes.
Congratulations, Wayne Simmons. It was assisted by Shane Gostisbehere and Ivan Provorov as a power play marker to make it 2-0 for Philly. Gostisbehere's shot from the point caused a rebound, and then Simmons just slammed her home. behind Murray for the power play goal.
Yeah, I mean that's where Simmons really banks on, just like a player like Johan Franzen, I mean that's a lot of players who are, big and physical. That's where they make their if you see these guys get their goals, that's how they do it, right in front of the net.
He's always done it, but this year, these past couple of years, I think he's gotten a lot more skilled.
He's gotten a lot more skilled, but he's also been in the right opportunities heading to Philly. He's been a 30 goal scorer, I believe, 2 years in a row.
Yeah, I mean, I bet the Kings wish they still had him.
I don't know why they got rid of him, but
things happen. So in the third period, Claude Giroux made it 3-0, assisted by Bellemare. Bellemare intercepted a breakout pass by Pittsburgh's Justin Schultz. Waited for Giroux to get into the slot, and then Giroux just sniped Matt Murray. I mean, this happened plenty of times to me, where a defenseman would be coming around the net and just pass it right into the middle of the slot. You don't pass it right up the middle at all, Chad. You know that.
You rarely do.
No.
So it's
it
really
was a bad breakout.
Yeah, it's really hard to anticipate that, and you have to get yourself back in position thinking that your guys are going to get it out.
And especially if you got a forechecker right in front of you. Why are you going to try to get it around him? NHLers have great hand-eye coordination. He just snapped his stick on the ice and caught the puck.
Yeah, I mean, in my opinion, I think that Pittsburgh had to have been really tired to be able to make these bad plays that they did.
I believe that shift, they were out there quite a while, but I could be wrong.
See, when you're tired, it's really hard to be able to coordinate because you don't want to ice the puck because then you got to stay out there extra time. So, putting pressure on will result into that. And Philly must have done a good job at that, huh?
Oh, yeah. They definitely did. Because then, with less than a minute left, Dale Weiss scored a goal assisted by Luke Shen Braden Shen and Sean Couturier to make it 4-0. This was actually kind of funny. The puck just hit a bunch of players in the front of the net and just happened to bounce off Dale Weiss' skating in.
Wow. That's how he got his third goal of the
literally
season.
Talk about being in the right place at the right time. So then the shots for Philly through 3, 7, 13, 8 for a total of 28. They did a pretty good job of getting the puck on net that game. Pittsburgh 8, 9, and 6 for a total of 23. It doesn't seem like a lot to me, does it?
No. Same thing with Philly having 24 shots.
28.
28 shots.
But Philly went 1 for 4 on the power play. That was pretty indisciplined of Pittsburgh, I thought.
Yeah.
Pittsburgh went 0 for 2 on the power play. They ended up losing all the face-off draws pretty much with a percentage of 35.3. Philly won 64.7% of the face-offs. I mean, we are seeing some big numbers in these face-offs percentages these past two games.
Yeah. I mean, in the first, Tampa Bay versus Rangers, it was all Rangers winning those face-offs, but it obviously it's a huge deal when you have with these face-offs. Yes, okay, Tampa Bay, picked it up, and even though it was lopsided, having Tampa Bay, pick up their play like they did in that one game, you had, how do I put this?
Tampa just luckily won.
Yeah.
They are good at setting up the puck. Philly is good at getting their guys in the front of the net. All these teams that win the draws, especially in the offensive zone and on the power play, just, work. We have an example coming up in the Hawks game right here.
Well said.
So now we're going to cover the Blackhawks. They visited Ottawa last night, March 16th. All of us American viewers got to see a little bit of the Canadian national anthem. And it was a great game overall. Chicago won 2-1. It was a close one. Scott Darling was in net. First, I believe he was back after injury.
Yeah.
And then Mike Condon was in net for the Senators. We were hoping for Chicago native Craig Anderson, but
didn't get him though.
Mike Condon has been doing really well lately.
Yeah, I mean, he's definitely very capable backup, that's for sure.
We want to also say that John Hayden made his first start for the Hawks. He was born in Chicago but raised in Connecticut. He came out of Yale University. He's a right-handed shooter, which the Hawks really need.
Yeah, they're mostly lefties on that team. At least there's got to be it's 10 or 11 guys. Yeah,
and then especially on the point, I think Seabrook and I think one other are righty on the points.
Roosevelt.
Yep, and then on Ottawa, they also had a few Chicago area natives. Both played for Team Illinois, believe it or not. Ryan Dzingel and Tommy Wingles.
I didn't know that.
Really, Chad?
I might have known Dzingel, but I didn't know Wingles for sure.
Well, he used to be on the Sharks, but now he's on Ottawa, and he had a little bit of a role in this game. So it was also Marian Hossa's 1,300th career NHL game, and it also happened to be against the team that drafted him.
Oh, I didn't even think about it that way.
He spent 6 years in Ottawa, Hossa.
Yeah.
He played pretty well there. Well, for the first period, Chicago had a majority of the scoring chances, Chad. Ottawa did a good job defending, and then Mike Condon had a ton of big saves. The Hawks really controlled, I thought, the first period.
Yeah, definitely. I would say, I think that I feel like when, Ottawa came out strong in the first 2 minutes, they brought out their defenseman. They had Alex Burrows, at the point. And I thought, that's one of those, that's Ottawa's play. But I think they came out really aggressive. And I think the Blackhawks really started tiring them out.
Yeah, because at the later stages of the first period, the Hawks really, really turned on the scoring chances. And then to begin the second, Wingles and Taves got tangled up, about 5 minutes into the second, resulting in a 4-on-4 because of the coincidental roughing minors.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
And then another play that happened in the second period. This one, has made the highlights already on NHL tonight. Mike Condon robbed Artemi Panarin point blank. He had a dandy glove save. I mean, it was a windmill. It all started because Derek Brassard was trying to clear the puck around the boards behind the net, and you know what? He hits the net.
Oh yeah.
And then the puck shoots right out to Panarin, who's in the slot, and just not covered at all. Whoop.
Yeah, I mean, when you make those error plays, it shows that you're tired. And I believe that the Hawks took advantage of that, and they really, after it was back and forth in that first period. I mean, I obviously Hawks with like a 60-40 edge, I would say.
I would say maybe 65-35.
Yeah, I mean.
But man, you're right. They just tired him out because Brassard was just constantly getting harassed in the corner. He couldn't get out of the zone, and then trying to pass it out his way out. He just ended up hitting the net, and then it just went straight out to Panarin, who was trying to rifle it glove high, and Mike Condon was having none of that.
Yeah.
But then after that, just like with the Budai incident, Brassard came right over to Mike Condon and said, man, my bad. I was trying to get it behind the net. Instead, I hit the net.
Yeah.
It's good to see these guys taking responsibility for their actions, unlike some other sports.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely what makes the game great is just simple stuff like that.
Well, after 2 periods, it was still 0-0. I mean, it was a heck of a game. And then about 8 minutes into the third, the Hawks finally hit it home. Duncan Keith scored to make it 1-0, assisted by Artemi Panarin. Panarin gave Keith the one-timer on Mike Condon's left side, so his glove side. Condon made the save, but it just somehow trickled. Or no, he made the save. It hit his defenseman Pyatt and then trickled right over the line underneath him. It was
Nick Schmaltz didn't get that?
No, it was not Nick Schmaltz's goal. He ended up tipping it past. Our players hit the puck in just to make it sure it's in.
Right.
That's all he did. But man, it was just, if you want to say a fluky goal, that's definitely a fluky goal.
Yeah, I mean, they count.
Oh yeah, the puck just made its way over the line, and that's really what they wanted to make sure. It was kind of disheartening as a goalie to see that happen to a fellow netminder, but it was good to see the Hawks get the first tally. Chicago has been 8-2 when scoring first this season, Chad.
Say it one more time.
32, 8-2 when scoring first this season.
Wow. Yeah,
that's some good numbers, and that's once they get the lead, they position themselves well enough to keep that lead.
Yeah, I mean, in the third period, they really like to give up some goals, but you're right on. Like, they want to get that first goal, and they have the defense now, especially Johnny Oduya, strengthening their numbers. And, I mean, they really are those teams that like to hold on to the lead and play puck possession.
Oh, yeah, they definitely want to play the puck possession because they want you to be making the mistakes.
Just like the Brassard.
Exactly. Then Ottawa got on the board. Kyle Turris scored a power play goal assisted by Erik Karlsson and Mike Hoffman to tie it 1-1 with less than 9 minutes left in the second period. It was a nice tic-tac-toe power play goal.
That was a beautiful shot by Kyle Turris. I think he's one of the underrated snipers in the league.
I believe he's grown a lot as a player ever since being traded to Ottawa from Phoenix.
Yeah.
I mean, he was at the top of the circle, but this is where I'm telling you, with the face-offs, the Hawks lost the draw, which led to Ottawa setting up the power play. I mean, if the Hawks win that, they can just clear the puck down and none of this happens.
Yeah, it goes back to what we were talking about, the face-offs that you perfectly said, is that face-offs make the difference. And
I just don't. I mean, they need to get practicing on that.
mm,
Well, then Scott Darling, he made some huge saves on Mike Hoffman right after that. The exact shift right after Ottawa's power play goal. I mean, you want to respond with a nice strong shift, but having your goalie provide that what's the word I'm looking for, Chad? He's giving them the kind of
confidence.
Exactly. Bam. You nailed it. He gave the Hawks confidence. He's saying, boys, I'm here. I'll keep it. I'll hunker down. I'm the last line of defense. You guys just gather it up and come on, let's win this thing. And sure enough, the Hawks got a power play goal from Richard Panik, assisted by Kane and Taves to make it 2-1 for the final. Kane was behind the net and just gave it right to Panik, who shot a short side top shelf on Condon.
Yeah, it was like red light, green light, but it just kept on the gap to be able to pass them that puck. They looked like they were really aching to get Panik set up.
Yeah, and what was smart about the Hawks is as soon as one of the Ottawa players made a move, the whole unit looked like it moved. The whole entire unit looked like it was moving like a wheel around.
Exactly. Yeah.
Everyone was finding the open ice, and Panik definitely was the only one on Condon's blocker side.
Yeah. That's the thing is, with that precision pass and how well Ottawa was really it was like a pause moment that they know it's coming, and Patrick Kane's able to put it beautifully, and Panik's able to execute. That's the skill that you see, and I love it.
That pause moment you're mentioning, as soon as Ottawa lost track of Panik for that split second, boom, Kane capitalized on it. Now, I know in the broadcast, Eddie Olczyk was mentioning that, Mike Condon was on his knees. He should be up facing the shooter. Well, this is exactly how goaltenders are told to play now. This is how the butterfly is moving post to post. So you stay in the butterfly while you're on the post and moving off the post in the butterfly. Whereas when you're up, you have to go down in the butterfly, creating more openings. So because Eddie Olczyk's, a forward, sort of an older guy, not up with the trends, I would like to say that's not very good broadcasting because you're not doing your homework. But
he was a forward.
It is a new form of goaltending. It's a new way goalies are being taught. It's a completely new way this year.
Yeah, I'm not a goaltender, but it does change quite a bit. There's a puck tracking, and then there's a puck, then there's a positioning that you're talking about where, sometimes they put the blocker on their side, and you don't like that. I know that.
Yeah, you're right. No, you're quite right, Chad. I mean, there's always going to be a new way to improve the position, whether it be a piece of equipment or how you study in the film room or doing a drill or actually, finding out a way you like to play in the game.
Yeah, and another thing I could say that I know about goalies is it's a whole different culture from defenseman forward, and then there's the goalies, and they have I'm very fond of it that they really you guys get into your pads and all the colors and all that stuff, the designs and the helmets, and along with that there's the way to play the game.
Yeah, there's a lot more to the looking nice.
Oh yeah, there's so much more to it, and that's the reason why you have this NHL low scoring stuff is because goalies are getting better.
Exactly. Goaltenders are more athletic than ever. I mean, it used to be the worst skater was always the goalie. Now the best skater is the goalie.
Yeah, now it's like they by far are the most athletic human beings.
Well, we just want to say the shots on goal, there were a ton in this game. There were a ton. I mean, both teams had 13 in the first. Chicago had 9 in the second. Ottawa had 8. But then Ottawa had 13 in the third, and Chicago had 6. I mean, Chicago was outshot 34-28. Both teams were 1 for 4 on the power play. But here it is again, face-off percentage.
Yeah, and especially, like I said, the Hawks in the third period, I don't know what it is. They have a solid defensive core on paper. They always seem to give up a tally. And, they really have to shut down when it comes to postseason.
If anything, at least it was a power play goal. I mean, you don't really want to give up an even strength goal. I mean, you still don't want to give up a goal in general, but
really good point.
They were outmanned. I can see it. And then, the face-offs, Ottawa won 63.8% of the draws.
Wow.
I mean, Chicago only won 36.2% of the draws and still won 2-1. That's just... They also failed to convert on a 5-on-3. I don't know how the Hawks pulled this one off other than Darling was a wall. Because Chicago had 24 shot blocks, but gave the puck away 22 times.
Yeah.
That's a lot of giveaways.
It's a lot of giveaways, and it just seemed to me like sometimes some strategies in the NHL are playing the game without the puck, forcing them to make mistakes, and that must have been the case with, what Chicago was doing.
Well, I did notice that Ottawa is a very well-coached team. You don't really see any odd man rushes.
Definitely.
I think in the broadcast they mentioned that in the month of February they had 4 odd man rushes total.
Wow.
In the whole month.
That's solid.
I mean, that's unheard of. I can see 4 odd man rushes in a game maybe, but out of 15, 18 games in a month?
Yeah.
4 odd man rushes. That is good defensive hockey.
Yes, they're very, they're very skilled. They're very, strategic, and that must be why they're the most consistent team throughout the NHL.
Yeah, they have been pretty consistent this year, but they lost last night to the Blackhawks. And we just got to say, we welcome our sponsor from the state of hockey. The state of hockey is Minnesota due to the numerous amateur and collegiate hockey teams, as well as the Minnesota Wild. The Minnesota State High School Hockey Tournament recently happened, Chad, and we would just like to say that, well, congratulations to Hermantown for winning their second title in a row in Class A, and then Grand Rapids beat Moorhead for the 2A state title.
Congratulations, guys.
Now, this is something that kind of surprised me. All 50 states watched, the Minnesota State High School Hockey Tournament. That makes sense to me. But it was watched in 37 countries.
Oh, yeah. And there's at least... There's thousands of people at these high school games in Minnesota. I mean...
And it's broadcast on television. So, yeah. And now it's streaming on the internet. I mean, all these... Maybe they're transplants, expatriates, anything. It's just... It's cool to see how much hockey has really grown in the States.
And you got to think, and this is high school, so there's a 14-year-old on television.
Oh, yeah. We also like to say that we're sponsored by JedCastRadio.com, WJOB 1230 AM, 104.7 FM, WJOB1230.com. We're on YouTube. Our channel is On the Blue Line. We're also on Facebook at On the Blue Line. Our Twitter is at Blue Line Podcast. Well, Chad, we're going to talk about some of the scoring leaders here.
Yeah, it's been really, it's been interesting. It's been up and down. Like, I believe that it was Marchand and Patrick Kane with 76 points, tied.
Yeah, but now it's McDavid and Marchand tied for the lead. I believe they have 79 points each. Yeah. Then Kane is second, I think, with 77. Crosby's fourth or fifth.
74 points.
Okay, and then who's the fifth one?
Evgeny Malkin at 72.
Give it to the teams that have firepower. I mean, it's surprising, though, to see Brad Marchand way up there.
Yeah, I mean...
Where did this come from?
Where did it come from? He was a super pest, and now he's one of the top guys in Boston.
He's in the running for the Hart Trophy. It's kind of wild to hear about that, right?
Definitely. I mean, no one saw it, but I mean, we did compliment at the beginning of the season how well he's progressed and the player that he's developed into. But,
yes, became much more mature.
Yeah, but we didn't think you'd be.
We didn't think he'd be basically replacing Tyler Seguin.
Right. Yeah. I mean, Tyler Seguin should be up there, but he's been plagued by injuries. But
yep. Hey. I mean, him and Jamie Benn would have been really something if he would have been healthy.
Yeah, no doubt. But I mean, hey,
So now with McDavid being at second, do you see McDavid helping Edmonton into the playoffs?
Well, their offense has picked up, but yeah, I mean, I could see it. I think that they're going to be a really interesting team going into the postseason.
They do have Cam Talbot in net, but their defense, I don't know about their defense.
Yeah, I mean, it really will come down to the offense, and, you know, I mean, that's really what they rely on. But, you know, their defense, they're not all, you know, top 6 defensemen, you know. That
Very true.
Yeah, but I think that, you know, it's going to be a great experience to see Edmonton once again in the playoffs.
I think they both played each other recently for a 7-4 win, I believe. Edmonton won 7-4. Marchand got his 79th point. McDavid had 3 assists. You know, I think to catch up to him.
Yeah, you're right on that.
Oh, okay. I wasn't sure if my memory was failing me yet or not.
But yeah, I wanted to talk about this too with Edmonton and how they get their firepower going again. And, you know, for a while it seemed, you know, they were kind of up and down, but now it's...
And they really relied on their goaltender Cam Talbot during that time. I mean, they really did.
Yeah, you pointed out, you know, at the beginning, throughout, and you stuck with it. Cam Talbot is the man.
Yeah, he's really been, you know, Edmonton's savior ever since they got him away from New York.
I agree.
But New York didn't lose a backup. They gained another, I think maybe even a better backup with Antti Raanta. I mean, he's really good backup material, even though he wants to be the starter. I mean, he's really what you want in a backup goaltender. He was good on the Hawks.
Right, yeah, he really wanted to play, and, you know, he's proven why.
Yeah, I mean, he's held up for Henrik Lundqvist so far.
Yeah, and, you know, I have all hopes for Henrik, but I really think at Ranta, you know, he's going to be the guy, and I think Lundqvist, you know, he can have 1 good game, 2 good games, but...
Man, we just hope the best for King Henrik making his return this season. Well, Chad, for this week in hockey history, we're going to stick with the goaltenders.
All right.
On March 17th in 2009... Devils' Marty Brodeur became the most winningest netminder in NHL history, passing Patrick Waugh.
I mean, the guy is definitely one of the best.
Yes, he also broke Terry Sawchuk's shutout record, I believe, which was over 100 shutouts.
Wow.
I mean, that is just saying the longevity and the skill of the man. He's also scored several goals.
Yeah, I mean, the guy's done it all. I mean, he was with a good system, but regardless, you know, that's what it takes to have a great Hall of Fame career. You know, he's with Scott Stevens.
Ken Danico.
Yeah, I mean, we can go on, but, you know, he was in a great defensive system, and, you know, to be able to be that guy saying, okay, we're in a defensive system, there's no excuse for me to, you know.
Yeah, I can't be the
excel.
weak link if we're going to be the defensive team, especially since I'm the last line of defense.
Yeah, I mean, look how he handled it, and that's, you know, I mean, anyone could say, you know, you can go on the other side and say Martin Brodeur, if he, you know, he didn't have all this, what would have happened? Don't matter.
Yeah, that's very true. I mean, he was just very, very good as a goaltender. Well, we got some games to preview for you guys this upcoming week. We got a few Hawks games now coming up on the schedule. March 19th. The Colorado Avalanche are going to be visiting the Chicago Blackhawks. Now, Colorado always somehow manages to give the Hawks fits.
Yeah, you know, they really come out and, you know, they want to be they want to get under their skin.
I think it's going to be, you know, I think Crow is going to be in the net for the Hawks, and then I think Pickard might be in the net for the Avalanche. If not, it'll be Jeremy Smith.
Yeah.
They're trying to get more of their younger guys playing the Avalanche, you know, to see what they have for next season, because there's no way they're making the playoffs. I mean, hopefully they get the lottery pick. I hope we get the first overall pick.
You know, you're right on that. Yeah, I think that with Colorado, you know, they have a lot of good pieces. They just don't gel together. But yes, I mean, you watch these guys; they have a lot of skill.
There's something that they just need.
Yeah, they also need to start spending a little bit more money in their budget too. Start paying these guys, and that helps.
Yeah, that's true. And then on March 22nd, we're going to have a nice Wednesday night rivalry, a battle in New York. The Islanders are taking on the Rangers up in Madison Square Garden.
Yeah, both these guys got something to play for. Islanders are, I believe, 1 point out. They have 77. Rangers are at 90. So
I think we were just talking that both teams are, in the hunt for the wild card spot over there in the Eastern Conference, just because the Atlantic Division that the Rangers are in is so crazy.
Yeah, it's definitely.
If you have 90 points and you're a wild card team, I mean, that just shows that the other three teams ahead of you have even more points.
Yeah, Washington, Pittsburgh, and I believe Columbus.
Oof. I mean, that's a lot of... Those are some good teams right there.
Yeah.
I think this is going to be a great matchup. I can see Tavares really going out on this game.
Yeah.
Tavares, the captain of the Islanders, he somehow just always will find a way to will his team to victory. And now they've been winning great under Doug Weight.
Yeah, and with that Hosong guy,
Josh Hosong.
Josh Hosong. Yeah, he's he's doing great. He's a good prospect for them.
Yes, all through the controversial jersey number 66 after his idol Mario Lemieux. Everyone thought it was sacrilege that he was taking that number, but who cares? Take your favorite player's number. If it's not retired by that team, take it.
Yeah, the past is the past. I even think, maybe Gretzky's jersey.
No, only Gretzky's number.
Only Gretzky's?
Yeah. Across all sports.
Yeah.
Maybe not football because that's a good defensive lineman number. But across all other sports, number 99 should not be worn in honor of Wayne Gretzky.
I agree. If you're gonna go number 66, it's like you gotta go number 100, number 102, because eventually there's so many great players.
You can't use 3 digits. Come on, Chad. Come on.
Well, if you were to take Lemieux's number, and then you take. Who else do you take? Paul Coffey's number. Then you take this great player's number.
Yeah, Paul Coffey's number was also Ray Bork's.
Yeah, it's a number.
Hey, Kane's 88, and it's Eric Lindros's number. Exactly, a number's a number, but Gretzky's number is a number above all else. Not just because it's 99 either.
Now I think about it, I will agree.
And then our last game this week is going to happen on Thursday, March 23rd. Dallas is coming into the United Center to visit the Hawks. Jamie Benn lately has been a little peeved. He's been mad at other players. He's gotten his feathers ruffled, you could say, and he's been losing his cool. So we'll see if, Tutu kind of is a little bit of a pest. Jordan Tutu's been playing pretty disciplined lately, and I like that out of a tough player.
Yeah, you'll definitely see it on Dallas' side. You have Cody Eakin, you have Antoine Roussel. They're super pests.
Roussel is a pest, but he also has a lot of skill.
Yeah, I think there's going to be a lot of goals in this game.
There could be. I mean, Dallas has used 2 goalies in more games than any other team this season. I know it's in double digits, where they've either taken Lehtinen out and replaced him with Niemi, or taken Niemi out and replaced him with Lehtinen.
Yeah, it's a really bad goalie situation, especially with how much they're paying these 2 guys to not even have no consistency whatsoever.
Isn't it like $13 million or something they're paying both of them?
Yeah, it's about that, and that's a huge amount of money.
That's a lot of money towards your cap. I mean, for Christ's sakes, get a good backup and pay him $2 million.
Yeah.
Look at Ranta. I'm sure he's making $3 million, which is like nothing.
Yeah. It's still high up there. It's still a good amount of money, but it's nothing like this. I don't think there's any goalie situation like this ever.
This has truly been a bizarre season for goalies, at least in Dallas. And I've been keeping a little bit of track of it, and sometimes it baffles me. I don't know what the GM was thinking. But anyways, I think the Hawks are going to have another great game. I can see them, winning a few of these in a row and making a win streak, coming down the stretch here.
Yeah, they've been hot, and they got hot at the right time, and
especially they got Darling back at the right time, and they needed. There's another backup that what does Darling make? $3 million, $2 million, 2.5?
Maybe less than that.
And he's a phenomenal backup.
He's phenomenal. He really improved this season, and you're seeing it.
Didn't he play like 10 games in a row earlier when Crawford was injured?
He was definitely the guy, and I think that at one point he was 7-4-1.
So you do need to have a great backup. I remember watching Ty Conklin about 10 years ago, and he was a solid backup for whatever team he was on. I mean,
solid backup. But here's the thing: it's like a whole new role. Like a backup goalie is it's a necessary position to have. Like if your starter goes, your starter can lose confidence by not saying, "Hey, I don't have anyone to back me up." Like my body's hurting because I'm playing 60 to 70 regular season games. It's a huge difference to be able to have a guy like Scott Darling, especially when they won the Cup in 2015, right?
correct.
And it was Scott Darling being able to back up Crawford after he was losing his confidence, couldn't beat Nashville, and
Yes, I was just about to say the Nashville series.
yeah, exactly. That was huge for Darling to be able to come back, and it boosted Crawford up. But that's leadership, that's chemistry, and you need that.
Yep, and Stan Bowman really, probably with some of the help of his famous daddy, Scotty Bowman, got some few tips about it. But, that's just
Definitely.
really good chemistry and really great teammates, Goalies it's a brotherhood, man. And, having a good brother right next to you, backing you up, that's really what you need. And
It's a culture itself.
I can see the Hawks taking both of these games that we are previewing.
Yeah, I could see it. I could see that, both teams being, kind of pass it up against the Hawks. Hopefully they don't injure nobody. And Nisimov is an injury-prone guy.
I don't think the Avalanche have any pests whatsoever. They just need to worry about getting the puck in the net. Or at least getting the puck out of their own net. It's been a long season for my team, Chad. I'm sorry.
I have faith they'll pick it up, but
Yeah, maybe next year.
Yeah, they gotta move some pieces and get some pieces. That work, that click. It's not. You can't just go. Well, the thing I want to make up, say about the Colorado is that it doesn't help that they lost their coach.
Yeah, during training camp, basically, Patrick Waugh, left the team, which, in hindsight, maybe he had a vision and saw this happening.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely some kind of disagreement. We have no idea what that is.
I think he might have just been a little burnt out by the schedule of being an NHL coach.
Going from traveling to East Coast and
compared to being a coach in the Quebec Major Junior Hockey League.
Yeah,
Just staying in
I
your
think there's a
little
lot
area.
more to it though.
Yeah, we'll never know the true story, but I think the Hawks will come back with a victory over them. This is going to be a nice homestand for them. I can see him being on a nice winning streak here.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Well, folks, that's enough of the show for On the Blueline, the hockey podcast. I mean, we had some great games this week. We have some better games, I think, this upcoming week.
Yeah,
Anything else you want to say, Chad?
I say we covered it.
Oh, really? Okay. Well, for my partner,
Chad Van Dersen.
I'm Phil Bernardi, and we're going to be signing off. Thanks again for tuning in, folks. We hope you tune in next time, and please click subscribe on the YouTube channel.